remember, use of force is in the moment. I've said that many times on many different videos. What I mean by that is, and this video from Canton Police is going to show the exact scenario of what I'm talking about in the moment. So for use of force continuum, a lot of different departments have them on a pyramid or an escalation scale. It's always, it's not always, it's usually dictated by the subject. And it starts at a base of police presence being the very foundation of it. And then all the way up to deadly force. And in between, you've got like verbal de-escalation, hand control tactics, strikes, impact weapons like batons. And to my knowledge at the time, tasers were on the same level of impact weapons. When we first got the tasers were on the same use of force continuum as pepper spray. A mace is no longer used. It's OC spray. It's pepper spray because of the chemical in mace. And so we had cops out there that were saying, sir, put your hands behind your back. No, tase. And that was the same thing as pepper spray. In my area, the overzealous use of the taser was then put up, hey, these are impact weapons, so it has to be the same articulation. If you're going to use a baton on somebody, then you could use a taser. I say it's usually the peace, or excuse me, not the peace officer, the subject who does something, right? So I show up on scene and there's a disturbance. It can flow, and understand this. It doesn't have to go from A to B to C to D to E, F. It could go from A to Z and then back down to A. It's all dictated on the subject's actions. Now, caveat, we know that cops love to instigate and jack people up on calls to get them to do something that, oh, you're resisting, now I get to use it. I won't deny that. It happens all the time. It's all how you articulate it. Use of force as well, based on Graham v. Connor, right? That's an orange juice case, and you can go Google or YouTube Graham v. Connor, the case, and you can see the standard format. When I first got on, I believe it was we talked about Tennessee versus Garner a lot, and those are forcible felonies. Again, I'm not up on case law a lot anymore. I should, for the sake of this channel, and I will, but I always like being corrected in the comments when I'm wrong. This is out of Canton. The city has fired a police officer who kicked the subject in the chest while he was kneeling during an arrest last month. The city announced its decision on Monday in the case of Detective Brandon Mirov, who had worked for Canton on 2 separate occasions and was originally hired in 2020. The decision followed a pre-disciplinary hearing on September 13th. Today, this is a quote from the Canton Police Department. Detective Brandon Mirov, his employee with the Canton Police Department, was terminated. The mayor had said, as I've stated before, the behavior seen in the video we all saw was unacceptable. Was it? We're going to break this down. While I respect our officers who put their lives on the line each day, stop fucking saying that. Citizens put their lives on the line each day when you're dealing with some of these officers as well, too. We need to start respecting that. This comes with much responsibility and commitment. A commitment needs to be held to the utmost level of professionalism. Yes, Mayor, regardless of the circumstances. Well said. Well said. I agree with that. I support the decision made today by the Director of Public Safety, Andrea Perry. Women in positions of leadership and power over police should not be a thing. Need to get rid of Andrea. And I will continue to trust the vision of the Chief of Police, John Gabbard, as we forge a path to Canton to moving forward. Let's take a look at the Canton body camera footage. This is all that they released. It's I don't know what the call is. I'm going to see if it has in the narrative. Remember, when I watch these videos, I do them in the same mindset as you when you're watching for the first time. I think this is what makes my channel different. Is I don't like doing research on my videos because I don't want to have a bias going into them. I want to watch as you're watching and then go, oh, that's fucked up. And then, ooh, maybe I need to correct myself, because that's how America is. That's how the world is right now. We are impulsive when it comes down to watching content. According to this, Canton Police Department has released body camera footage capturing the events surrounding Officer Brandon Mirov kicking 21-year-old Jamir Elkoy as he was kneeling on the ground with his hands in the air last weekend. In a press release issued Monday, the police said the incident occurred Saturday night near the Mahoning Manor apartment complex on Morris Avenue, NE. Was that in Nebraska? Is that Nebraska? I don't know. I don't remember my abbreviations. NE officers, officers were called to the area after a report of some argument involving 10 to 15 people, and authorities say multiple individuals fled once law enforcement arrived. However, the others were located and ordered to the ground. Okay. So let's break this down as well, too. Now, I was a very overzealous officer for a long time. If this is the way this reads, and normally when news publications put something in their narrative, they put details. The only details we have is officers were called to the area after someone reported that 10 to 15 people, an argument involving 10 to 15 people, and authorities say multiple individuals fled once law enforcement said. However, once they were located, they were ordered to the ground. Why? Arguing? Were they fighting? Were they stabbing each other? Were they yelling? Do you see what I'm saying? We don't approach, and I do. I take a lot of sense of urgency out of a lot of bullshit. I don't know what the 911 call was. I don't know if the media is conveniently leaving this out. I don't know if they're saying multiple subjects are in the parking lot fighting. If they say multiple subjects are in the if they say this, and I don't know what time, the body camera time, it says 20:38. So 8:38 p.m. On a summer night, people are outside arguing, and cops are always looking for something to do. This is afternoon shift. We got to go screaming up and order everybody. They're looking for something to do. Remember, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. It's an opportunity for you're a dog, and there's another dog. I'm going to go fuck that dog because I got a hard on because I'm a cop who's sitting in a squad car, and I want something to do. We have to acknowledge this. We have to acknowledge that these are dogs that are looking for a bone or looking to stick their bone into something, and that's the mentality of police officers. One of those suspects was McElroy, who the department admits appeared to be complying before being kicked. All righty, we have a bias going into this video. McElroy and two other men were arrested, with police saying 2 handguns and a backpack containing a large amount of marijuana were recovered for the scene. It's just not who possessed them. That's after the fact. They found that after the fact. So let's look at this video together. And again, I don't know what the 911 tape was. We have subjects kicking each other. I don't know what that is, right? So we're going to go off of this solely the 2-minute and 5-second video that we have here. Let's watch this together.
That's why you gotta comply.
Why is my brother like that, bro?
Because he's not complying.
Bro, this is damn, bro. That's how y'all. We ain't do nothing. We live out here, bro. Bro, I live right there. Right there. How you gonna arrest me? What the fuck?
Everyone's getting detained.
Did anybody have eyes on the male that jumped the fence so he makes it to 19th, or is he bunkered down over here?
Mom, what is going on? Hey, bro.
No, there's a black male, white shirt, black jeans.
What is going on?
Still at large.
You do it?
And I guess 10 seconds ago, he ran northbound on Gridley from 19th.
I don't know, man.
I ain't copy.
Can you tell me why I'm being detained? I didn't even do nothing.
It might have been right, yeah?
Alright.
I'm not sure. He looks a little tall. That female pointing over here. She's pointing.
Get on your side.
Looks like you went west to the backyard.
Take your knees this way. I'll move your butt. There you go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Alright.
Copy. I think you guys are on your own right now. We got a bunch to take.
Nah, it was my.
2-2, what's your on?
Here gonna stop.
I'm in the Christopher Cook.
You know we ain't running that, so why we getting in trouble? This is the same thing.
Copy. Getting ours.
All right, we're going to go back and look at this in a second. Can I acknowledge something off the bat because you guys think I'm 100% anti-cop? I'll be 100% talking about the racial profiling of police work as well, too. It is almost 100 out of 100% guaranteed that when young, urban, black males get together, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be an argument. There's going to be a fight. I'm so fucking tired of denying this fact. Racial profile is real because culture and race, they live together in the same attributes as language does. And when black males, young black males get together, they have a massive impulse control problem. They just can't seem to deal with conflict resolution other than through violence. So when you hear 10 to 15 males arguing, yeah, it's going to be, unless this is a white area outside of a bar arguing over a football game, if it's a setting like this, like a parking lot, it's going to be males. Going to be males. I want to look at this. We have this cop who's off the, and if you got a fucking problem with what I'm saying, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Sorry, it's how it goes, guys. And until we start having the real conversations of what the public does attribute to their dealings with the police, nothing's going to change. You want cops to change. You want policing to change. You want all this bullshit with their use of force to change. You got to start acknowledging when you're part of the fucking problem too, right? So again, if we break this down, there's nothing illegal about 10 to 15 men being in a parking lot together. There's nothing illegal about them arguing. It's 8 o'clock at 8:30 at night. It's not that noise complaint after 10 p.m. So again, nothing illegal about this, but we know we got to show up. We got to show quick and enforce. It's just how it is. Cop's going to go running up. I want to look at something because this is where I'll look at, can I defend? Can I defend the use of force that's up here? The image quality of this, let's look right here. Okay. I don't know what is deployed right now. I don't know if that's a pistol or a taser. I think I see in this cop's hand over here on the right, I see a weapon. Right-handed, it's going to be, you're looking at, I don't know why their weapons are drawn. I am going to operate under the assumption that they received information, maybe someone saw a gun. So if the call alone came out, 10 to 15 subjects arguing, and that's exactly how it came out, I can't defend police rolling up and pulling their pistols out on people. I can't defend that. What I can defend is 10 to 15 subjects arguing in a parking lot, and you have two ways of dealing with this. You can go code lights and sirens, and I would sit there and say lights only and a good distance away because the evening is starting to come up and that red and blue bounce off the buildings and everything. Not even those on. Drive, emergency driving without your lights to get there so they don't know you're coming. No siren whatsoever. Block your squad out a good block away. Get out on foot. Go there, right? That's if you want to sit there and do it that way. Or lights, blare the fuck out of that siren so they all run and everybody's happy that night. You show up on scene, problem is solved. No crime, 10 to 15 men are arguing. Awesome. Great job. Police work was done. They left the scene. Nobody's harmed. Nobody's hurt. They want to sell their drugs. I don't give a shit, dude. Go smoke your marijuana in your house. Everybody's fucking happy that day. That's how that is. If by chance there was weapons, even if they were brawling, and this is how the old me looks at shit, the young me, if I saw you got 10 to 15 males fighting, blah, 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 you show up, you still can't pull if they're use of force, if you show up and you've got 5 guys all beating each other up, what are you pulling your pistol for? What is the deadly force? Unless somebody's on the ground and 5 of them are kicking his head, deadly force would not be justified, right? Remember, the use of force scale does slide, and it's always at the actions of the subject you're dealing with. So go back to me showing up, and I've got my lights and sirens blaring. That's use of force. I'm letting my presence know. If my presence is, I see lights bouncing off the building, I hear sirens, and they stop their behavior and their actions, use of force. Presence was enough. That's all I needed. I don't know what the circumstance was. Remember, after the fact, after a gun was recovered. I don't know who was on, where it was heard. We only saw this at the officer who's down here begins to run towards them. Great. Here we have, let's say these are pistols. This is pistol 1 pointed at this person's head. Pistol 2 pointed at this person's head. Let's say a gun was involved and you don't know who. There is a chance, it's a stretch. You can articulate that you see these two officers here. They both have their pistols out, which means one hand at least is occupied. One hand is occupied. So to handcuff, you want one hand using control, another hand for the handcuffs to control that person. These guys have to holster first. You could articulate that we heard that a gun was involved. Subject in a black t-shirt, jeans, black male had the gun. I mean, this is a fucking stretch. So the cop showed up. He saw his pistol. He saw Officer 1 pointing a pistol at this person, so that this is deadly force. And I can't make out I don't see yellow, so I'm going to say this is a pistol. And he's pointing it at his head, which means that's not a taser, because you wouldn't point a taser in there. This is deadly force. Why did they go to deadly force for subjects who were just arguing? Again, I don't have the information of what happened at that. If it was subjects, hey, got a 911 call, we got guys in the parking lot with guns, great. Sometimes we know that there are asshole callers who don't like black people, and they will make shit up. We've got these guys could have been sitting out there doing nothing. Nothing. And I will tell you the amount of fucking white people who don't like black people and call 911. I've got 10 black guys all outside there yelling and screaming at each other, and they've got guns. Fucking yes, they do it. They do it. I've been to a call like that. If he's got deadly force on this subject, and this guy's he's in a position of compliance, he's on his knees, he's got his hands up. It doesn't take but a fraction of a second, if he had a gun in his waistband, to lift his shirt and go and retrieve a pistol. Right? So this, boom, that kick, in order for this cop to secure him, that was a very quick reholster to go down to a handcuffing technique. Gun, boom, kicks, boom. See, yeah, I wish I had a different angle of this. His gun is holstered, unless that was a taser. I don't know what that was. I carried a black X26 taser. That's what I carry. I did not carry a yellow one. So looking back, I should have carried a yellow one for specific instances like this. Okay, I got to back this up again. Yeah, I don't know if he's going for, I used to carry cuffs, a pair of cuffs here. So I used to have two in the small on my back, and I carried a third pair right like this. So I would just take it out right here. Those are the first pair I always went to. So he could be going for cuffs here, or if he's right hand dominant, the taser is going to be on his left hand side. He could be reholstering the taser. I don't know what that weapon was. So we have that. You could articulate that the officer, if he had knowledge of a firearm, I don't know, no idea if he did, that he could have been using force to prevent the subject from going for a weapon because there was an implied weapon. There's a threat of. Do you see how I'm stretching this? Do you understand the importance of creative writing when it comes down to law enforcement and what they articulate and why body cameras are so fucking important? They really are. But here's the other aspect of use of force. It doesn't matter. If this guy, I've used this analogy a lot. If this guy was a drug dealer and he executed, let's say he shot 10 other subjects and who are all there, and all 10 subjects, you show up, there's a pool of blood everywhere, there's brains everywhere. This guy's like, fuck everyone, I'm gonna kill them all. And the cop sees him running, right? And he sees this guy execute them all, and the cop is a distance away to where he can't deploy his firearm and take him out. And I also have to wonder, like I said, about whether or not there was a firearm involved, because if we see over here, this cop's got a long gun. He's got a rifle. He's got his AR out, right? So I don't know exactly what the nature of this was, but it doesn't matter, because this is where the public does not understand use of force either, and why it's so important that cops do. And the public, you guys get educated on it. This guy could have killed everybody on scene the fucking instant that he surrenders, drops his firearm, puts his arms up in the air. There's the key, right? Dropping his firearm. Use of force changes. You can't shoot him. But remember, it changes in a flow. So I could be this bad guy, shoot everybody. You show up and you're a cop. I put my hands up on scene, drop my weapon. Use of force, right? Use of force is done, right? You gotta lower your use of force escalation because I just de-escalated it. But the second I go like this, it goes right back up again. So in the moment, and this moment changes so rapidly, unbelievably rapidly, the officer is always playing catch up. The guy escalates up, comes up, down, down. It's always doing this. Always the officer is the reactionary party to the use of force that is needed. Regular use of force and then deadly use of force. Again, I see this as a pistol. It could have been a firearms implied, especially if that one cop has a long gun. These look like khaki pants, so maybe this was a special detail. I don't know, gang unit. I don't know the demographic of the area that much. This is why use of force is so important and why, if you really want, there's a lot of key components to fixing use of force when it comes down to the police and the public. Ultimately, if it's the after fact of command staff to look at this, right, and find out, did the guy have a weapon on him? No, he didn't. Now articulate why you kicked him. And the other cops, why'd you have a pistol pointed at his head? Why? Well, you already had his gun. Okay, they didn't pat him down at this point. He's not, I'm going to 100% assume he was not pat down. So if they did have the pass, that there was a gun implied or guns implied, then yeah, holding him at gunpoint, I'm fine with that. They don't know just yet. Am I fine with the kick? Oof. If it was one of the other officers. If one of these two wanted him on the ground to go face down on the ground, and he wasn't, and there was an implied weapon. Subject has a weapon, they could have hit in his waistband. They don't know. I would have no problem with the officer. This one here on the right side of the subject, going behind him, not kicking him, but boot on the back and pushing him down. I would be fine with that. Kick is a little bit different. Semantics, I know what you're going to say. The problem I have is with that first cop running up, he doesn't have any of that fucking information. So how can you say, well, I kicked him to get him to comply? How do you know what the other guy's commands were? How do you know? Overzealous. He's only been on for 3.5 years, 4 years or whatever. So we're looking at that. That's a problem. The three relationships in the use of force that have to look at is the police, the public, and then the subject involved. Number one, cops have to know what the use of force is. They have to know how to turn it off. They have to be very emotionalist with it. It's not that fucking easy. It's not that easy. The older you get, the easier it is to turn off, which is why stop fucking hiring cops in their 20s. Stop. They just can't control their emotions. They're just as bad as the kids I reference that are being on calls like this. Then you have to look at the cultures in the communities. All right, if I think and I know from personal experience that when you put young urban black males together, a fight's going to fucking break out, well, then we have to start looking at what their behavior is and why they have such a massive impulse control problem with conflict resolution. Why? Why are guns? It's their culture, the guns, the rap music, the drugs, all this. It's fucking culture. It is what it is. I'm tired of it. Then the last component is the public. You public are some of the worst people out there when it comes to this, because you look at this scenario and the comments are always going to be play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Okay. You're fueling the fire. You're picking the side of the police just because you don't like fucking black guys? It's because you think they're gang. Oh, they're smoking weed. They deserve to be executed on the spot. Fuck. I hope your mother runs into a cop like this and she doesn't fucking hand over her driver's license as fast as possible as a cop wants. And he drags her out of the car by her hair, puts her on the fucking ground and shoves a gun in the back of her head. I hope your mother of all people meets one of these cops so you understand, well, she didn't do anything. Well, now you know how the public feels. It's a 3-tiered relationship for use of force. The public that either supports or condemns the police, the public that interacts with the police, and the police themselves. And until this shit comes to the table and says, we have a problem, nothing's going to get changed. But the first ones who have to work on this are the police. They do. They're the ones who are administering use of force. But sadly, they see it too much as discipline or correction of behavior, which that's not their fucking job. How do you get an adrenaline dump You get called, subject fighting, 10, 15 people fighting in a parking lot. You're like, yeah, fucking been waiting for a call like this all summer. You go zipping up. You can't find anybody. Everybody else is having the fun over in the parking lot, and you got to run up and go get it. You got to turn it off, man. You got to turn it off and go, ooh, it's not my job to punish these people. Fucking it's not it. My job is to serve and protect them and protect their due process and their First Amendment right and the Fourth Amendment right. That's my fucking job. That's emotional maturity. A lot of cops don't have that. A lot of cops don't have that. So it sucks that the public, it does have the free speech to be jagoffs in the comment section of these videos and say that, cops should administer punishment. You guys are fucktards, but it is what it is. And it is still the public's right to say, he didn't do nothing. No, your little shithead kid is in a culture where it's impulse control problems, it's cultural problems, it's issue, and you guys automatically blame the police for what's 90% of the problem is your fucking behavior in the first place. But when it comes to use of force, this is a great example of two sides of the coin. If a gun was involved and they could articulate it, yes, that kick could be warranted. It could be warranted, but not by that officer. That's the problem. If there was no gun involved, but you assumed it, I don't know why you got your pistol pointed at his head. If 10 guys were just physically fighting and no gun was involved, I don't know. Your presence alone should have been enough to stop them. If not, let them fucking fight. Let them fucking fight. Make sure it doesn't get too out of control. Who's ever wind up standing, just say, hey, are you guys want to press charges? No, you don't. Have an awesome fucking night. Very simple. But I know that with the public, again, it goes back to the public. We don't want that element in our neighborhood. Fucking then do the job yourself and police your own. What the police are called for many different situations is just janitor work because the public is too fucking lazy to do it for themselves, right? There's a lot of issues when it comes down to use of force that sadly we don't talk about. But again, you have to be able to turn it on and off instantaneously. And it is a very, very, very difficult thing to do because of adrenaline dump, emotions, mental maturity, emotional maturity. We need, it's that whole cops need better training. Fuck, dude. Cops need to be sat down. Do you understand your job? Yes, I do. Do you understand your job is not to punish? Yes, I do. Can you have somebody look at you, spit you in the fucking face, call you a cocksucker, they're half your size? Can you not punch them in return? Yes, I can. Can you? Ooh, let's go fucking do it. So this again, this is not a First Amendment auditing video, but you understand that this is why First Amendment auditors are important because they are triggering the emotions in cops, and we need to test them a lot fucking better. Don't forget to join us live on Thursdays. You want to join, you want to support the channel, the link is below in the comments. Go buy my book, Before the Badge, Everything You Need to Know Before You Become a Cop, available on Amazon. The link is below in the description, and as well, too, thanks you to those who are emailing me information, to Officer Dominick Izzo, and those who are tagging me in Instagram videos for review. You can follow me. My Instagram link is below as well. Thursdays, we're live 9 p.m. Eastern. We do call-ins and talk about stuff. Again, I appreciate all the support for this channel. This is a big passion of mine. We can change police culture if we all get our heads out of our asses and work together. You guys have a great damn night and be safe out there.